salutations, my dearest friends. My name is Samantha, and today I'm going to be talking about some of my favorite Sapphic dark romances. Hello, how are you? How you guys doing? How you guys doing? Welcome back to my channel, and welcome back to Sapphic Saturday. Every Saturday we are talking about Sapphic books because I love them. I'm making this a series, so there will be a playlist that I will link down below if you want more Sapphic goodness. But today we're going to be talking about my favorite Sapphic dark romances, which means I'm talking about my favorite books ever. I just love the angst and the emotion and the steam. I'm not gonna lie, I love a steamy dark romance for sure. And I feel like with sometimes when it comes to Sapphic romances, not all the time, but sometimes, it can definitely lean more into like the cutesy contemporary romance, which can absolutely be a moment and a vibe, but sometimes I just want something Zork. I'm doing Sapphic Saturday every single week, so I will obviously have other recommendations in future videos, but this is the dark steamy romances, so buckle in. Okay, so first we're going to talk about quite possibly one of my favorite books of all time, and that is Serpentine Valentine by Gianna Darling. Ever since this book released, I feel like I am screaming to the rooftops how much I love it. It is truly one of my favorite books, exactly what I'm looking for in a romance. This is a Sapphic, obviously, dark academia romance with a little bit of a Medusa retelling and a revenge plot. So the book starts off by following one of our main heroines, Lex, and at the very beginning of the book, she is unfortunately taken advantage of by someone that she thought that she could trust. She is assaulted by her college professor, and when she comes forward with the assault, nobody really believes her. In fact, the institution and the university that she attends is trying to cover it up. The president of the university was a very close mentor to Lex, and she feels incredibly betrayed by her because now she's trying to call her a liar and cover up this assault. But Lex comes back the next semester with a vengeance. She wants revenge against the man that hurt her, but also revenge against the people that tried to cover it up. And that is where our heroine Luna comes in. Luna is actually the daughter of the president of the university. His plan is to seduce her and get a little bit of revenge, and it ends up following their dark enemies to lovers romance. I really do recommend this book endlessly because the writing is just achingly beautiful. Obviously, this is a Medusa retelling, so you have those references to Greek mythology, but also I feel like if you're a classic lit girly, you will absolutely love this book because the writing is so lyrical. Classic lit references, mythology references, pop culture references. It's so good and on point and has every trope that I absolutely adore. It also has a bi-awakening trope, which is like one of my favorite tropes ever, and just the overall description of the queer experience really resonated with me, and this book is so special. So special. Absolutely love it. It's dark, but it's also incredibly romantic, incredibly beautiful, and I just wish more people would read it so I could talk about it with them because I fucking love this book. I cannot talk about dark romances and not mention my queen, the love of my life, Liza James. Absolutely adore her books. I feel like her niche is Sapphic dark romances. That is the majority of what she writes, and she does it well. She does it so well. On my channel, I have talked endlessly about this series right here, Hush and Vibe. So good. So captivating. I know this has mixed reviews, but I feel like it's because of the dark nature of her books. So make sure you're reading the trigger warnings and you're really looking for a darker romance when you're picking up her books. Again, I've talked about these two. Love them so much. The one I want to talk about in this video is her book called Madhouse, and this is a dark stepsister romance. Lots of trigger warnings for child abuse and religious trauma, so just take care if that is something that you know is triggering for you. The book follows our two heroines, Cedar and Ophelia, but she goes by Fee, so that's what we'll call her. They grew up in a very traumatic household, and I don't want to do too many spoilers, but there is a lot of their childhood that has traumatized them but also separated them. Cedar is reconnected with her stepsister Ophelia when she is released from a mental hospital for killing their parents. it's very, very dark, okay? Their past is really traumatic, but an integral part of the story. Cedar feels guilty for leaving the family home and feels responsible for a lot of what Fee went through. So she ends up taking her back to her home so that they can kind of like heal from their past, and in turn it follows their very complicated, very dark romance. I am typically not a fan of step-sibling romances. In fact, it gives me the ick. I don't like it at all, but something about this one, it just hits so good, and I just love Liza James. Like, in my opinion, she can do nothing wrong. I also have met this author in person at book signings before, and I don't even know if she realizes like the impact that she has, because she is so inspiring. If you just listen to her talk and listen to her story and how she came out, I mean, go follow her on social media because everything about her is so inspiring. I love her story. Yeah, just love Liza James. That's my girl. That's my girl. I absolutely love her books, so highly, highly recommend. Another author that I could wax poetry on is Miss Anna Stone. I have talked about her books also a lot on my channel. Her books are predominantly on Kindle Limited, and her niche is also darker sapphic romances, but particularly sapphic romances that kind of delve and dive into BDSM dynamics. Now, if you are not a fan of BDSM romances, Anna Stone is the exception. She's quite simply the exception. The way she describes the community and the kinks is just so informative without feeling boring, sexy as hell, but also just like yummy. I love her writing so much. You could literally just scroll through her backlist and blindly pick a book and you will have a great time, I swear to you. The first book I read by her does remain my favorite though, and that is Being Hers. This is an age gap, kind of like taboo romance. It follows our heroine who works at a bar, and one night as she is working, she kind of like catches the eye of a sexy older woman like across the room, and they definitely have this really intense connection, and it turns out that that woman is the owner of the bar. That's her boss, okay? She didn't know. And they end up forming this relationship. Our heroine is very new to the BDSM community and is kind of being introduced to it. Again, the way their dynamics are explained is like so informative, but also so sexy. Like, perfect balance. And the power dynamics in this book, obviously, because she's her boss, sexy, taboo, all the things. Absolutely love it. It's so, so good. And I feel like Anna Stone is criminally underrated, so please check out her books. Next dark romance that I want to recommend is really popular, but it is popular for a reason, and that is Tri-Six Venom by Penelope Douglas. This is a classic bully dark romance. It is technically classified as new adult, so I actually don't feel like it's as dark as some of the other books I've mentioned, so it's a nice introduction into darker romance. This book follows our two heroines, Clay and Liv. They both attend a very Catholic religious school, and they also play for the same lacrosse team. I think that's the sport that they play. Kind of a little bit of sports rivals, a little bit of opposites attract. One of our heroines comes from a family that is very wealthy, very known in the Catholic Church. Another one comes from an area that's not as nice. Over the years, they've been enemies, they've been bullies to each other, but as they get a little bit older, what they absolutely cannot deny is that they have an intense attraction to one another. So it starts this very forbidden, kind of like sneaking away in the hallways type of romance, and I love it. It's so good. Penn Douglas, phenomenal author. So many of their books are absolutely amazing. So yeah, highly recommend this one. It's very popular, but I feel like it's popular for a reason. Listen, I too grew up very, very religious. So books with religious trauma sometimes behave a little differently. And this is a good one. What I really like about this one is just the emotion and like the character development in this book. Their chemistry is just so, so good. It's definitely not like the darkest, steamiest romance book out there, but it's so good still. All right. Next, I'm going to talk about two quick, steamy, smutty novellas. These are really short. They're both less than 100 pages, and they're just like a sexy, good time. The first one is Don't Tell Me No by Honey Chanel. In this one, our main heroine is married, and her husband is trash. He's trash, okay? He is absolute garbage, and he has been stealing from his company and is in a position where he could absolutely get arrested for stealing from this company. His boss is a very sexy CEO woman, boss bitch, and is like, listen, I'll forgive everything you're doing if I can have your wife. Yes, give me your wife. She's sexy and you quite simply don't deserve her. He proposes, they write a contract that the wife simply cannot say no for a full 24 hours in her control. And the husband agrees because he's fucking trash. The wife agrees to the contract, signs it, agrees that she cannot say no, and she ends up having the time of her life. Yeah, she is treated right. You definitely have to extend your disbelief just a smidge with this novella because it's so bonkers, but it's a sexy, steamy novella. Like, what are you expecting? Another one that's a quick read is Little Green Vines by Brittany Andrews. This is just a sexy monster romance. Our heroine lives in the woods and she's always told to not go into the forest, but the forest is calling her, okay? She feels drawn to it, compelled to go into this forest, if you will, and it turns out in the forest is a sexy monster that is trying to lure her in to have their way with her. Yes. So this one does have a little bit of dubious consent, but it is so fun, sexy, unserious. It really is just like a sapphic monster romance, and I love it. So all my recommendations, giving you a little bit of everything. We have darker romances, bully romances, some novellas. Let's go ahead and quickly talk about one that I'm currently reading right now, and this one was recommended to me so much. I made a TikTok, I don't even know, like a couple months ago, asking for some sapphic recommendations, and so many people recommended the author Eden Emery. So the one that I'm reading right now is called Don't Stop Me, and it's so much fun. Oh my god, it's so much fun, let me tell you. In the beginning of the book, our main heroine, she ends up breaking up with her boyfriend because her boyfriend's fucking trash, and she ends up going to like a sexy club. You know what type of club. When she is at the club, she ends up meeting an older woman and they have a very sexy interaction, lots of chemistry. Well, it turns out that that woman is her ex-boyfriend's mom. Yeah. Really, really loving this book. Okay, it is so much fun, and I thank you guys for the recommendation because this is my type of shit. So yeah, love a taboo, age gap romance, totally into those vibes, and this one is a good one, so I will keep you posted once I finish it. But that is it for this week's installment of Sapphic Saturday. If you stayed this long and you enjoyed the video, leave me an emoji. What emoji should you leave me? Just leave me a red heart because I have a red heart on my Betty Boop shirt. So leave me a heart in the comments down below if you stayed this long, and I'll know that we're bookish besties. Also, if you have any requests for future Sapphic Saturday videos, leave that in the comments down below too. I would love to do them. Would love to hear from you guys. Love to hear all your recommendations. But that's it. As always, thank you for taking time out of your day to spend time with me. It means the world to me. I hope you guys are all staying happy and healthy, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!